Hey, it's good to see so many of you again. I'm your kindly old Uncle G, and this is Retroactivate, a podcast where we'll look at a classic LP that merits another look. If you didn't do so after digging last week's episode on the New York Dolls, go ahead and subscribe before we get going. Today we'll be looking at Prince's Around the World in a Day, the follow-up to 1984's Monolith, Purple Rain. It might not be a better album than its predecessor, but I enjoy it more. And it's not necessarily a matter of me liking mutts more than thoroughbred dogs, though I'll admit that that's true as well. With Around the World, we get an engaging set of postcards, and Prince is our tour guide instead of the Hellenic by way of Minneapolis tragedy where our hero ends up staining the altar in purple blood. So maybe I'm a simpleton, but dig, if you will, some of the subtler genius moves on this lesser valued disc. I'm not sure that I can actually call the first single, Raspberry Beret, lesser valued, as it was already a favorite among my millennial focus group. But this character study of a girl next door type is welcome, particularly after the rides we've taken with fetish queen starling Nikki and the infamous lady cab driver. I'm no prude and certainly no fan of Tipper Gore, but there's power in the familiar, in the relationship well-relationed. It's almost as if the great and powerful Oz facade of womankind has been pulled back to reveal this hipster chick with a fancy for thrift stores. Prince, I think, acknowledges that we've all been sold some faulty goods when it comes to love, gender, and self on another of the LP singles, Pop Life. He gets at those tendencies we have to let the media define what thrills we should long for and what spaces we should fill. Better that we should haunt those thrift stores and maybe read a good book than buy into television's message that we're all coming up short, and that hilariously Ed McMahon may have misdelivered our $1 million check. Our tour guide takes his social critique to the streets in America, and though the details of his platform are better realized on Sign of the Times title track, the ascending electric piano riff in this funk rock gem would make Sly Stone envious. This is Prince, so we can't forget that we're at Bible camp. We've sung some songs, done our community service hours, fallen in love and stolen some kisses, but we've got that sermon coming. This record delivers, and maybe delivers us, with its closing track, Temptation. I'll admit that I never quite know how to read the God layer in a Prince text. Probably something to do with my own spiritual shortcomings. I do, however, like this particular slice of Christian cosmology better than the apocalyptic title track by Purple Rain. The guitar and horns alone feel like they could get both Frank Zappa and George Clinton to stop messing around and come to Jesus. When the rock and roll preacher starts arguing with God, I'm pretty sure that this is as funny as a gospel tune gets, but again, I'm a deeply flawed person. And I tend to go for the well-crafted pop moment over the anthem, the secret booty shake behind closed doors over the public pledge of allegiance to song and performer. These individual songs work for me by drawing on late 60s sensibilities as much as they do psychedelic textures. As for this being Prince's Sgt. Pepper, colorful album art, string arrangements, and the stray wooden flute rocking an exotic scale don't add up to Beatlemania any more than they add up to Lemon Piper Mania or Parliament Funkadelic Mania. I highly doubt that Prince saw Sgt. Pepper as anything but a mile marker in his rearview mirror. So I love this record, but with Prince, I often find myself wishing for a different drum sound and a subtler drummer. I mean, just imagine what someone like Steve Jordan could have done here. One of Prince's mutant powers was to coax any sound in his head out of any musical instrument. But that doesn't mean that was always in the song's best interest. His other mutant power, of course, was stage presence, and yeah, the guy was clearly Omega level. So again, it's been swell, but the swelling went down. I'll be back next week with more on the music that built and then threatened to destroy, and then had a tickle fight with this great nation of ours. Be sure to subscribe. It wouldn't be a party without you. This has been your kindly old Uncle G for the Retro Activate podcast. Until next week, stay strange.